fun prepared.
Thinking.
What does your sweatshirt say? Does it say beach?
Beach, please.
Beach, please. You guys, if you haven't already, you really need to check out our website, chicksontheright.com, or check out chicksontheright.com/links. That's where all of our things are. All of our socials. Our socials, I don't know if you know this or not, and we don't mean to toot our own horn. Is that the universal sign for tooting our own horn? I don't know what that is. Is that like that's when you go by a truck driver?
Yeah, that's when you go by a
truck driver and they
Right.
he hoots his horn. Yeah.
So
Anyways,
that works. It works.
yeah, but our socials are awesome. You should check them out. You really should.
You really should. Man, I am just like I did not I've not prepared myself appearance-wise at all for today. Apologies for my disheveled.
I kind of do miss being able to put my hair up in a ponytail. It's good times. Good times, you guys.
All right. So yeah. So let's talk about some news.
Let's do it. What is today? I don't even know what today is.
Today
Wednesday?
is Wednesday.
Yeah.
It is the day of the hump today.
It is the day of the hump.
Today is also, by the way, Madonna's 65th birthday.
Really? She's 65?
Mm-hmm. So
she
Madonna can get Medicaid now or Medicare now. I think.
Oh my gosh, that's
maybe
crazy.
She could have gotten that at 62. I never remember the rules.
I don't know what the rules are either. She almost didn't make it.
I know.
She had that scare.
Yeah, but she's okay now. Cause like I went when I saw that it was her birthday today, I went to her TikTok to see if there was anything of interest that she has posted recently. And there was I guess it was in late July, like the 27th of July. So a week or two ago. It was the 40th anniversary of her first album, maybe. And so she had one of her songs playing and she was dancing around and she made a comment saying, I'm just grateful to be able to move my body. You know what I mean? Because after her.
Okay.
And she should be, especially after all the shit she's put into it.
Yeah. Stop putting so much shit in your body. Stop it.
I mean,
yes. I mean, there's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of drugs. It's a lot of men. It's a lot of everything that she just puts in there. Okay. Just maybe simmer. You're 65 now. All right.
I mean, just calm.
Maybe just spend some time with the grandkids. Okay.
God. I mean, it's just a lot. Right. But anyway, happy birthday, Madonna.
Yeah. Okay. She watches our show. Yeah.
Right. I know she's watching.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there was an announcement yesterday by Trump on Truth Social that he is going to hold a very big press conference on Monday. That at which time it's going to be 11 a.m. Eastern on Monday. And at that time, he will be presenting what he calls irrefutable, humongous report of all of the Georgia voter or election fraud. And and he says that he and the rest of the co-defendants in this Georgia case will be completely exonerated with whatever information he's going to break down on Monday. So that's all I can tell you about that.
That's debate week.
Yeah, that's debate week.
Somebody's saying Kraken.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So we've got one video clip that will address whether or not this is a good move on his part. I don't think anybody can really know that for sure until we hear what it is that he has to say. He is supposed to turn himself in by Friday. I don't know if it's this Friday or maybe it's next Friday. It's next Friday, I think. The 25th is the date by which he has to turn himself in before, there'd be like warrants for his arrest. And I'm sure he'll turn himself in. I think he's even going to do that this week.
And then what happens?
Well, that's a great question. And I'm so glad you asked it because there is so much conflicting information out there. I cannot get a straight answer. And I have scoured the internet looking for legit sources to say, is he going to be mugshotted? Is he going to have to serve time in jail because of the seriousness of the charges? Because I do have a clip of that DA saying he's no exception and RICO charges warrant jail time. Like there's no probation. There's no bail for that. Like you go to jail when you are faced with that. So I don't know, man. But then there's other reports that say, oh, no. When he goes and turns himself in, he may get a mugshot, but he'll be with Secret Service. He'll go right back to his private plane afterwards. Everyone knows he's not a flight risk. Everyone knows him. He probably won't have a mugshot. So the reports are just all over the place.
See, I heard that in Georgia, they were like delighted to give him a mugshot. I hope he does get him. I hope he does get a mugshot.
God, oh my God, it'd be the best-selling mugshot.
I know.
In the history of the world.
If he could somehow use that for himself, he'd pay for all of his legal fees. It's done.
Oh my God, right? It would be in a New York second. It would be completely done.
Yeah, like the greatest thing ever. And like all of the supporters would be wearing that shirt all the time.
God. I know. I mean, it would be the most famous. It would be on t-shirt. It'd be on so much merch.
Everywhere.
Oh my gosh. For
everywhere.
Sure.
I mean, like the hat is going to just go away. It would become his mugshot.
Yeah. But and there's even all kinds of mixed reporting on what he would be, whether or not he would be able to pardon himself from the Georgia charges, because Mark Levin is now saying, I think he can pardon himself even though there's state charges. Overwhelmingly, I'm seeing that that's not the case, but Mark Levin, very good lawyer. So again, there's so much mixed opinion about how this is all going to go down that it's impossible to predict what is actually going to happen. So that's it's about all that.
It's not like we're exhausted or anything. I mean, it's good to have some unpredictability, right? Hey, why not? Let's enjoy the ride. We all like roller coasters, don't we?
Woo!
Let's do it. Yeah.
And when everything gets to be super confusing and messy and you start doing that thing where like you walk from your bedroom into the kitchen and forget why you got there. There's always Healthycell, you guys. They have an amazing product and all of their products are amazing. Of course, Healthycell is who makes the gel pack multivitamins that you get 165% better absorption from than you would with any tablet, pill, or capsule. So they're famous for that. We use them religiously for that purpose. But they also have very specific performance types of supplements as well. One of those being the Focus and Recall, which really helps boost your brain power, your focus. It helps you avoid those kind of brain fog moments where you're like, why am I in the kitchen right now? Why did I come in here? What was my purpose?
I feel like Joe Biden. Where's my pudding?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's a fantastic product, just like all of their products are. You can check that out and all of their other products at healthycell.com/chicks. You can also get 20% off your first order at healthycell.com/chicks when you use code chicks. And if you're not sure, if you're like, what if I hate the taste? I promise you won't, because it's fruity and delicious. All of the flavors are fruity and delicious. I believe Focus and Recall might just be the peach mango, if I'm not mistaken. But it doesn't even matter. All of their gel packs taste yummy. It tastes like a treat. But if you're not sure and you don't want to like commit to a big month box of it, try the 7-day pack. They've got these 7-day trial packs for just $19.99. Shipping is completely free. And see what you think. See if it makes a difference. Check it out. Try it. It's amazing. Healthycell.com/chicks. All right, let's get into some things, shall we?
Let's do it.
Still lots and lots of reaction about the Georgia indictment, and we'll kick it off with Jonathan Turley, who, as you might expect, thinks it's all a bunch of crap.
Excessive, and I think it's also dangerous. It essentially criminalizes challenges to elections. There's no sort of limiting principle in this document. They are charging things like the president saying publicly, we need to have a recount.
And what's wrong with that?
Yeah. What, having a recount? Like there should be nothing. There should be nothing wrong with people saying, like we said yesterday, how many Democrats have said this? How many Democrats have said, I don't really believe the results of this election?
Right. We've got so much of that.
Am I even allowed to say that? Am I allowed to say that in this broadcast without getting shut down by
or
YouTube?
Arrested?
Right. Or arrested. I mean, just the stuff we scratched the surface yesterday because it was so early, because this indictment crap came out so late on, what was it? Monday night? Was it Monday night? Because yesterday was Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we started talking about it yesterday. And so, you start hearing more and more about what's actually in it. And it's just all so freaking absurd, you guys.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that they're trying to get him for. You're just like, what?
It's just nonsense.
It is. It's so un-American. It's so crazy. Like, I hope that this stuff, it doesn't stand up, but I don't know in this country anymore. I just don't know because everybody's gone batshit.
Right. It's true. And the fact that they're trying to suggest that all 19 of these people were actually in on some giant conspiracy together is so freaking insane.
It is. They're insane.
Who believes that? Who believes that they were like, let's make a plan to overturn this election? No, they just genuinely believed, like so many other thousands, millions of people believed that stuff was not on the up and up and it needed to be investigated.
Yeah. I mean, so we're all going to be indicted, all of us.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. That's all it takes is to just actually have doubt, which is why it's so ridiculous. And we have so many examples of Democrats having those exact same doubts in just a little bit. But first, Alan Dershowitz, apparently on his own show, he has a podcast. On his podcast, he assigns the level of batshittery that's happening in our country right now. He assigns it a number of bananas in terms of how close are we to a full-on banana republic. And so on Monday night, when this all happened, I believe he said 2 bananas or 3 bananas, but that number is increasing by the day. Here is Dershowitz.
And maybe the state of Massachusetts thereafter. I don't know, Professor.
I love Nantucket, but the idea is we're all part of the United States. And we have one rule for Democrats, one rule for Republicans, one rule for Martha's Vineyard, one rule for Nantucket, one rule for Georgia. And you cannot start making crimes out of things that the Democrats did. Tilden Hayes, John Kennedy election, 2000 election, 2016 election. Jamie Raskin gets up and does some of the same things. These are political actions that the Constitution prefers us to take rather than going out on the streets and rioting. We're supposed to go to court. We're supposed to go to Congress. You can't make those things crimes, and you can't expand the RICO statute to now include political objections. That just, on my podcast, I give bananas every day. I was up to 2 bananas, sort of Banana Republic. I'm now up to 3, maybe even 4 after this indictment.
Well, that's a powerful statement. Let me ask.
It's a lot of bananas.
It's like, and then it starts making you wonder, okay, if I dare to go against the groupthink, then what are they going to do to me? Because this is what's happening in our country. Like if you have to think exactly how they think or they're going to come after you, as evidenced by everything that we've seen over the past couple of years and how they've weaponized all of these organizations. I say organizations, but like these federal agencies against moms and dads, who have the audacity to question the Department of Education or their local school boards, stuff like that. I mean, it's like, if you go against the groupthink, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, that's not American.
No, it's not. It's really terrifying how that's all happening at the pace that it's happening.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. All right. We mentioned earlier that there's a lot of, mixed opinion about how the booking process is going to go down. Here is a CNN report about that. And here is one of those opinions.
Well, now that Donald Trump has been indicted by a grand jury in Georgia, the former president has 10 days to surrender and be arraigned in Atlanta's Fulton County. But this court appearance in Georgia is going to look different than his previous 3 criminal cases. This time, not only will he be fingerprinted, he may also have his mugshot taken. And much of that court appearance could be broadcast on live television. John Miller is CNN's chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst. John, there are some key differences here that we could see. How do you expect this appearance to play out?
I think at some point they're going to make that surrender date. I don't think you're going to see a mass surrender of those defendants. I think Donald Trump will probably have his own day. But the sheriff has been very clear. Whatever our process is, we're going to follow that process. So that means fingerprints. That means mugshots. That means going through a booking process. The wild card here, Jessica, is always the same, which is it's the Secret Service. They don't like to have someone under their protection in handcuffs because if they have to grab the person and move them out of someplace quickly, that's a security consideration. I doubt we'll see that. They've been accommodated by the federal government and the New York people in the earlier arrests. But I think we're going to probably see a Donald Trump mugshot if the sheriff sticks to his plan.
All right.
It's just unreal. I mean, people are salivating over this.
Right.
And I think it's going to backfire on what they think is going to happen. I just think it's truly going to backfire.
It already is. I mean, I feel like support for him is growing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I'd say the more they try to suppress it, the more they try to, I guess, seize power of how they think things should go in this country, the more people are like, you don't get to do that. F you. We're going to show you who the American people are and that we're the ones who are supposed to be making this choice, not you. So sit down, like seriously, take all the seats. It will backfire on them.
I mean, I think it is. Absolutely. Now, Ty Cobb was a former Trump White House lawyer, and he was being asked about this whole press conference that Trump is going to have on Monday. And when I first saw the headline and Trump's Truth Social post about it, where he's like, this is going to fully exonerate us. This is, it's going to show all the fraud. It's like irrefutable. And it made me wonder, shouldn't you just use that like as your defense in the courtroom and not make it a big giant public spectacle? Like, isn't that going to dig a bigger hole for himself, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I always worry about with Trump, is that so much of what he does seems to be self-inflicted. Like he's got a mouth and he likes to use it. And so I just don't know if this is the best way forward for him. And I do worry that it'll backfire. Here's Ty Cobb addressing that.
So Trump says he's going to be giving a, quote, major news conference, his words, obviously. He says he will present a large, complex, detailed, but irrefutable report on the presidential election fraud which took place in Georgia. Of course, Ty, there was no fraud in Georgia. Right? Brian Kemp is as conservative as a Republican comes. And he has been very loud and clear that there's no fraud in Georgia. Audit. It's ridiculous to even go through it. But yet this is what the former president is going to do next week and to try to flood the airwaves with. What is he doing with that?
Yeah, this is all Trump, PR. This is, generating chaos. I mean, frankly, there's a good chance that whatever document he produces ends up as evidence against him. It could even end up, as the basis for an obstruction count against the author, because it's likely to be fiction and solely for the purpose of contaminating the jury pool.
Yeah, but listen, if I would be creating chaos too. I'd be using it as a PR thing too. If they were doing all the things, if they were saying to me, you're going to spend 1,000 years in prison for all this shit that is just absolutely crazy, I'd be like, all right, it's on like Donkey Kong. I'm going full PR assault on all you morons. And so I would be doing the same thing every opportunity that I could. I wouldn't be going down silently. I'd be going down screaming and yelling and being a complete crazed lunatic when it comes to this stuff. And I would be trying to reach as many people as I could, especially if I wanted to be president. So I think he's handling it exactly the way he should be handling it. He should be screaming from the rooftops, everything that's happening, and using every opportunity he can to make it a PR thing. Every opportunity, because he's getting.
Well, I hope he's doing that with the advice of his counsel,
so he
doesn't, not just
because so he doesn't screw up of defense.
Right.
I see.
I just don't want him to end up getting another charge, like Ty Cobb said he potentially could. Like,
yeah, but you know what?
Don't dig the hole deeper.
At this point, it's like they're going to charge him for, like I said the other day, for like ripping the mattress tag off. They're gonna, you know what I mean? They're gonna charge him for an ingrown toenail.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what they're doing. So go down swinging, man. Go down swinging and screaming. And I'll be like, because I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Why you don't go out with a whimper? You go out with a bang. Go Trump, go at this point.
It's going to be must-see TV. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
And there at Omaha Steaks, you guys, it is a must-buy time for Omaha Steaks right now, because they are having their 50% off site-wide sale. This is their anniversary time. And so they've been around for more than 100 years. And so this is a great time to stock up and fill up your freezer with all the essentials from omahasteaks.com. 50% off off is kind of awesome. And when you enter the word chicks into the search bar there at omahasteaks.com, you're going to get free burgers and steaks with select package orders. So stock up, man. It is the best time ever. And I cannot tell you, like, we had just only recently tried the pork loins. I told you I made that amazing.
Oh my gosh, they're so good. Their pork chops are amazing. They're
I
really
don't know
good.
why it's taken us so long to order those.
So
but,
good.
That's going to be a regular on the order list thing.
We get them for my mother-in-law all the time because those are her favorite, and we'll just get them for her as just a nice gift.
They're thick and juicy without being like the kind of thick that you see with like hormone-filled chicken breasts right now.
So good.
They're just right. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And Omaha Steaks, they know how to do it. Check it out now. Get your 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. All right. So there's so much hypocrisy around all of this, right? So the fact that these charges are even being brought when, in fact, Democrats are notorious for questioning the outcomes of elections is so ridiculous. And I know yesterday we played Rachel Maddow with Hillary, and Hillary was just in a complete state of glee about this latest indictment. There's another clip that I want to share from you, which is now looking at it is just truly amazing. The words that come out of both of their faces are so utterly tone deaf and show a lack of stunning self-awareness, a lack of it. It's mind-boggling. Listen to Rachel and Hillary.
The system of democracy at its heart is the idea that the people get to decide how we are governed. And if we no longer believe that our will is effectuated through the system, if bad actors tell us falsely that every election is stolen and that the only way an election is trustworthy is if they come out on top of it, then something it tells you something not just about that person or that moment. It maybe wounds us as a democracy and in a way that is hard to repair. What do you think about how we get better after the wounds that have been inflicted on us through this process?
Well, I think, the truth matters. I
Really?
think
Does
having
it?
these cases be brought in such professional manners, we'll see how they unfold. Obviously, the trials, if there are trials, are going to be critically important. But the article you mentioned
It's just unbelievable.
The truth matters, you guys. They were, those women were all bimbo eruptions. It was just one big bimbo eruption, but the truth matters.
Vast right-wing conspiracy.
It's like, God, I cannot with this woman.
It's amazing, right?
She's a walking lie is what she is. And then she's like, the truth matters.
And Rachel too. Rachel to be like,
So
when
smug.
people question the outcome of election, it's truly it's a wound to our democracy. Let's just rewind a moment and listen to Rachel when she was worried that Trump had stolen the election. Listen.
We are still every day dealing with this question of whether or not our president was chosen, not just because of a foreign intelligence operation. We're grappling with this existential question as to whether his campaign was part of that foreign intelligence operation. Russia, Vladimir Putin, Russia, hates Russia, Putin, Russia's
3 years.
Russia, Moscow,
my
Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, the Russians,
Yeah.
Russia,
Remember?
Russian,
Yeah.
Moscow,
For
Russian,
3
Putin,
years.
Russia against.
I mean, and it
3
goes on and
years.
on and on.
Yeah, of course it goes on and on because that's all they freaking talked about for 3 years. That's all she talked about. And then the unmitigated gall to sit there and talk to us about, oh my God, like we shouldn't be able to question an election outcome. We shouldn't be able to question that. And the truth is everything, right, Hills? Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Right,
about-
Hills? You
what
shouldn't
about
be able
those
to
emails?
question. Yeah, exactly.
What
And
about that?
now it's a freaking criminal charge. Well, then let's rewind again to this moment.
I think it's also critical to understand that, as I've been telling candidates who have come to see me, you can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
What? She said,
Throw her in jail.
oh my God, she's got to go to jail. I mean, at least for 1,000 years. At least.
I mean, this is the standard, right?
Yeah. Lock her up. Right? Lock her up. Somebody fingerprint her. Get her mug shot. That'll be a really pretty one.
Grab Stacey Abrams too.
Yeah.
I think she's still denying the results of her election.
Nobody wants to wear those broads on their shirts. Nobody. I don't. Oh my God.
And it's not just Hillary. It's so many Democrats who stood up at, during the confirmation of an election to do the exact same thing that they are now criminally charging 19 people for. Here's a little flashback.
Because 10 of the 29 electoral votes cast by Florida were cast by electors not lawfully certified.
I object to the votes from the state of Wisconsin, which should not be legally certified.
No debate.
Mr. President, I object to the certificate from the state of Georgia on the grounds that the electoral votes were not.
Debate. No debate.
And I object to the certificate from the state of North Carolina.
I object to the 15 votes from the state of North Carolina. I object.
I object to the certificate from the state of Alabama. The electors were not lawfully certified.
Is it signed by a senator?
Not as of yet, Mr. President.
In that case, the objection cannot be entertained.
I mean, it goes on and on. Like these people it's like they have no memory.
Oh, they have a memory. They just have no conscience.
Yeah.
They know what they did. It's just that they believe that we are here and they are here. And what they do doesn't matter, but what we do, we get thrown in jail for. God, screw you.
I know.
It's crazy.
Turley saying this is allowed. Like this is that we're allowed to question the government.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all legal stuff.
It's not that we're even allowed. We should do it. Like we should absolutely do it with glee. Mm-hmm. We should be doing it like on a regular basis. It's like I tell my daughter, you need to think critically and question everything and everybody. Question me. I mean, I welcome that. It's fine. Just don't talk back. Don't be mean about it. But question me. Don't sass me, but question me. Question your father. Question everything. And that makes you a smart person. Like we should absolutely be doing that with our government. The minute you don't do that with your government, like you are living in a banana republic. You're living in a communist country. Like, what is wrong with you? The people who don't do that, I look at them and I'm like, what? What's wrong with you? Like you are a sheep. Yeah.
Well, and everybody that's like celebrating this, like Hillary, it's like, how do you not see how dangerous this entire thing is?
Because it could flip on a dime to them at any moment. Like they're not looking at the long game.
Yeah.
That's what is so scary about these people. They think that they're always going to have the power. Well, that's not how it works in these third world countries, like these horrible places where we could get control. You never know. It could happen. We could get control and then people will be bloodthirsty and it could hurt them in the long run. It's not good. This is not healthy for anybody. It's just not. And I mean, Vivek, I don't know if you have the clip about, did you pull the clip of Vivek talking about, because he was talking about this yesterday. I don't know if we probably don't have it. He was talking about pardoning. He was talking about how it's just the health of the country. He is all about.
I have that.
Okay. Cause he's all about that. At first I was like, I don't like all this pardoning of everybody, but he does have some really good points about that. And I think that's why people are attracted to him is because he's like, we can't get into this whole back and forth because I'm afraid we're going to do that. I'm afraid that we're going to get to the point where, even if Trump becomes president, he's going to be on a revenge tour.
He's already promised that he will.
Right. He'll be on a revenge tour and then somebody else will become president. They're going to be on a revenge tour. It's going to be this back and forth, revenge. And it's like, is that a healthy place to be? Because I don't think it's healthy. It's like getting a divorce and constantly thinking about your ex. That's not healthy. Just move on,
Yeah. But at the same time, I totally understand the sentiments of people who are like, we need revenge. This is not fair. And they need to pay,
I absolutely get it too. I totally get it too. But at some point the government can't be this like arbiter of revenge. It can't just be like a tool for revenge. We've got to get shit done.
Yeah.
And
that's why people will hate when I say it, but that's why I really wish that Trump would have either never had decided to run or would bow out now for the good of the country and allow himself to be pardoned, because that would give us a fresh start. You know what I mean? That if it was somebody like a Vivek who was, and for the reasons that he gives, which we'll play in a little bit, for a reset, right? Like a new revival of this country where we're not just filled with hate for one another.
Right. I hear you.
I don't know.
I think it's going to take a lot of time for us to not hate one another. Either that or it's going to take a divorce.
Yeah. And that's what I know he's really interested in trying to avoid.
Right.
Okay. So the DA, what's her name? Fanny or whatever.
I call her Fanny.
Okay.
Fanny. That's what I call
the
her.
Georgia DA, she was questioned about
I'm sorry to interject. Personal privilege. My daughter, it's her last, she's going to say hi, Gwen. I'm going to go. You can do this. I'll be right back. I'm going to go take some pictures. It's her.
This is her last Monday.
Middle school, you guys. I'll be right back. Okay.
All right. Take your time. So what we're going to do in the meantime, while she's doing the school stuff, is we're going to talk about this DA who was questioned about the leak of that. The whole indictment essentially leaked in advance before the grand jury had even had a chance to vote on it. Right. So she was asked about that yesterday. And here is what she said.
The Fulton County Clerk's office that was circulated online with charges against former President Donald Trump. That fictitious document matched exactly the charges that we now see in this indictment. Can you tell us more about that document leak? Because now you have the former president's lawyers who are saying that this is emblematic of a serious problem with your office.
No, I can't tell you anything about what you refer to. What I can tell you is that we had a grand jury here in Fulton County. They deliberated till almost 8 o'clock, if not right after 8 o'clock. An indictment was returned. It was true billed, and you now have an indictment. I am not an expert on clerks' duties or even administrative duties. I wouldn't know how to work that system, and so I'm not going to speculate. Next question.
Well, have you had any contact with the special counsel about overlap between these cases, and do you intend to try?
So she's going to try to say she is not an expert on clerk duties, you guys. That's the spin. So, and the office, the court itself has listed like every possible excuse. They've twisted their story. They've run around on their story. They've changed the story so many times that it's utterly ridiculous. They screwed up, and there should be some sort of consequence for that. There clearly isn't going to be one because of how the justice system works right now. But I would think that Trump's lawyers are going to be all over filing motions to dismiss this and dismiss that and like talk about how just a crap show this whole thing has been, because it has been a complete crap show. She was also asked about how the process is going to work. I know we addressed this earlier in the show. She was asked how the process is going to work, whether he would, especially because of the RICO charge, will Trump be able to simply post bond or whatever and avoid jail time? Here's what she said about that.
Quick question. Can you clarify in Georgia the mandatory minimum when it comes to RICO charges, whether it's servable by probation or how that might play out?
The RICO charges has time that you have to serve, so it is not a probated sentence.
So that's kind of terrifying, right? Oh, yeah, I'm so glad she's back. So glad you're back.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be
so
sorry.
So many pictures. Okay.
I just showed a couple clips of the DA who was basically saying, I am not an expert on clerk procedures. So
why would she be?
That.
Right.
Yeah. And then she was also just saying that Trump will have to go through the process, and with RICO charges, there is no posting bond. There is mandatory jail time that you have to serve when you are charged with a RICO felony charge. So how this is all going to play out, again, there's a lot of opinion about this. This is what she's saying. The judge could do something very differently. I have no idea how that's going to play out. But one of the things that I thought that I was so glad you came back for, because I didn't want you to miss this, and that is, do you remember yesterday, you guys, when we played that old video from the foreman of the grand jury in Georgia, that idiot,
oh my gosh,
child moron,
the 12-year-old.
Well, turns out she's 30, which is I know, which is utterly unbelievable to me. She's 30, but somebody, like, there is some crazy AI capabilities right now. Someone turned her into Biden, and like, it's so scary. The voice and her mannerisms and his face
and her hair,
and it's so crazy. I didn't want you to miss this. Check this out.
did you personally want to hear from the
Well, I wanted to hear from the former president, but honestly, I kind of wanted to subpoena the former president because I got to swear everybody in. And so I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump of me looking at him and being like, do you solemnly swear? And me getting to swear him in. I kind of don't know. That would be awesome.
That is so awesome.
It's terrifying, though.
It is terrifying because it looks like a real person. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Gosh, that is crazy. I can think of so many supermodels I want my head put on their body. Like I just want that to happen. Can we make that happen?
That is just the craziest thing
my
ever.
gosh. That is really, really creepy. But the person who did that, bravo.
Yeah. I mean, that's
nice work. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Impressive for
it's
sure.
horrifying. I'm going to have nightmares, but nicely done.
Some people to thank. Michael Steller. Michael says, don't you think the U.S. Supreme Court is going to jump in? Everyone can see these indictments are politically motivated. They absolutely have to, right?
Right, I hope so.
But what about how do you work that? Like, can you make them get together in an emergency? Like, is that a thing? Can you
we
make
call
that
it like
happen?
a special meeting and go, you guys, like everything is crazy. Here's another thing. I'm not trying to bring the house down, but when we have to rely on the Supreme Court, which is the last stop, right? To stop the crazy and stop the bleeding that's happening in our country. That's when I get really wigged out.
Yeah.
You
should.
I'm a little, aren't you guys a little like uneasy that we're talking about how the Supreme Court has to do this? Like, can they call a special session or whatever to stop? It should happen way before then. The crazy should not be getting all the way up. Yeah. That's not good. It's not good.
Thank you so much to L.E. Moore 35, who says, happy birthday to my husband, Jason. Happy birthday. Michael Steller again asks, have you noticed Democrats never mention the Republic? Yeah, they're constantly talking democracy.
They always say democracy. Right.
And Curio23 says the state attorneys general needs to sue these places for election interference. I'm seeing a lot of pushback on the whole claim of Trump saying it's election interference from people. And I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm just saying what the pushback is. The pushback is that no one is forcing him to run, and he knew he was going to be indicted on a lot of these charges before he ever made the decision to run. And so you can't claim election interference when you ran despite knowing that you were going to be indicted. And so some people are saying, people could look at it as he's using a run as a way to avoid potential prosecution because it's election interference. He wants to be able to claim it's election interference to get out of the charges. That's just the pushback.
But that would mean
crazy
that people,
to me that this is happening.
I think that's dumb because people are trying to get into his brain. And when we start trying to get into people's,
that's so many of the indictments are trying to get into his brain.
Exactly. They're doing that. Like that's the Democrats are doing that. Like they're just assuming a lot of stuff. Well, I mean, I'm in his brain, so this is what I think.
Right.
You're not. So just shut up. Just take all the seats.
Quick reminder also about being prepared for any potential disaster or emergency that might befall this country.
You in danger.
We all in danger, girl.
In danger.
It's a bad time right now.
Right.
And China keeps stocking up on their food supply because China, by the way, is the biggest food importer in the entire world. And so when they run out of food, it's a big deal because they don't really grow anything. They just import food. And when it gets to a point where like 1 billion people in China can't eat, that's when the shit's really going to hit the fan. This is why they are hoarding supplies of food, and it just reeks of a potential food shortage across the globe, which is why it is more important than ever that you have your own emergency food supply. You can get kits from 4patriots.com. You can stock up on that for yourself, for your family. Make sure you have plenty of emergency food supply kits. They last for 25 years, so it's not like you have to worry that they're going to go bad. Once you get them, you're in good shape. And now 4Patriots has a brand new special for our folks where you get 10% off of any order, not just the first order, but any order forevermore, henceforth and forthwith, when you use the code CHICKS at 4patriots.com, the number 4, patriots.com. So stock up, you guys, because times are cray.
It's also why China's buying all of the Texas farmland.
Yeah. And not just Texas, like all over
the country.
But they have like 200,000 acres in
Yep.
Texas.
Yeah, they do.
Freaking insane.
Yeah, it is insane. I don't know why we can't stop that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is the kind of stuff that we should be doing, is stopping that. Like, why can't our legislators just go, we're going to go ahead and just say no.
Yeah,
we're going to say no to that.
That's not okay. All right, let's move on to some Biden stuff because, man, that guy's such an idiot. So, first of all, he's not the only Democrat idiot by a long shot. He went to speak in some sort of a factory, I guess, yesterday. And the chick that was introducing him, Representative Gwen Moore, she did not introduce him well at all. Like, this was a complete fail. Behold.
Because the disparity between 95 and 2019.
That's not it. There it is.
Mine. Someone who loves our community.
So much.
Somebody named, I think his name is Joe. Good old Joe. President Joe Biden, y'all.
Oh, everybody's so excited. Oh my gosh. Here he comes. Here he comes. Shit.
Well, I'm a little underwhelmed, aren't you all?
Oh,
I think I messed up. Y'all, please vote for me, okay?
Really? Really?
And I don't know when he showed up. Like, I have no idea when he actually came
or
after
if
that.
he did. If he did,
he definitely did.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely did. And then because he'd gotten so much backlash about the no comment thing when it came to the Hawaii fires, he was like, I'm really sorry to have to do this. I really like to keep my speeches, 15 to 18 minutes long, but I need to mention Hawaii. And it was like as if he was being so put out.
Oh my God, he's begrudged to do it. What
my God.
Jackhole.
Yeah, he was ridiculous. So when he got through that, then he talked about how we have the strongest economy, and people in the crowd clearly were giving him side eye because this is what he said.
Today is not hyperbole. We have the strongest economy in the world. You're looking at me a little skeptical, but I promise you.
Because you're
Check
lying.
it out. The strongest economy in the world.
No.
You're looking at me a little skeptical.
Because I'm
You
full of
think?
crap.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you're full of crap, Joe.
And then was another occasion where he just could not pronounce a word. I have no idea what he's about to say here. You guys can tell me.
But then, when I signed the bipartisan infrastructure again, which
What? The bipartisan. That, you guys, I'm going to make that my new password for all my devices. That's going to be
never going to get into your devices.
I'm going to remember it. It's going to be it, you guys. Seriously, just from heretofore. That's my new password. Just play it again, Mock.
Oh my God. Okay, let's see if I
Play
can
it again.
rewind just that much.
Yeah, can we do that?
Let's see.
when I signed the bipartisan infrastructure again, which
That's it. The bipartisan. That's how I'm going to get into my computer now. So perfect.
Well, it's a very secure password.
Right. No one will guess it. No one will guess it. You don't know how to spell it, Dixie? Come on.
Come on.
There's lots of T's in there. And
a lot of
X's.
T's. Yes. Okay. So remember when we played the mushroom clip with Janet Yellen and Aaron Burnett yesterday? There was also a moment where they talked about inflation. Because remember when Janet Yellen was like, it's transitory. It's fine. It's not going to stick around. No, it's fine.
Go do some shrooms. I'm gonna go get high because everybody in this administration is completely high. I am also high. Yeah.
Well, now she's not. Now she doesn't want to talk about prices of everything because now even if inflation is creeping downward slightly, it hasn't affected the prices of the prices of everything are still ridiculous.
Everything's high.
And so now she's to the point where she can't even talk about prices. She only wants to tout what's happening with the inflation rate. Here she is.
So I don't want to say that the level of prices will go down, but I think inflation will subside to rates that are quite normal and within the range that the Fed is seeking to target.
So?
Yeah,
So
she doesn't want
what?
to. She doesn't want to speak to that. Nobody cares about that.
I don't care about the inflation rate if it isn't changing the fact that prices are out of control.
Right. Prices are high. Janet is high. Hunter is high. Everything's high. I'm so
what
sick
isn't
of these.
high is the reserve for Social Security. I don't know if you guys can read this headline. This is another thing related to the economy. Yeah, Social Security on track to cut benefits to retirees in 2033 when its trust fund reserves are forecast to be depleted.
Fantastic.
The reduction could be substantial according to new analysis.
And there will be a revolt.
I can't even imagine.
Happens. Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's when the Gen Xers are all supposed to like start taking Social Security.
Yeah,
and I gotta tell you, you don't want to F with us. You don't want to F with us. We've worked since we were like 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not like the millennials and the Gen Zers who are like, we need, I don't know, 8 weeks of vacation right off the start. And we need a safe space, and we need to have, all this stuff, like this cushy stuff at work. And we need like support teddy bears in our offices. You know what I mean? And, oh, by the way, we don't want offices. We want to work at home for the next 20 years. Like, we actually have worked since we were really young. And if I don't get my Social Security, you're damn right I'm going to revolt. Like, seriously, there will be hell to pay. And I'm not the only one. I'm serious. This is aggravating as hell to me. These people cannot, oh God, my blood is boiling. When I see this, my blood just boils.
I know.
They are taking money. They are taking money and they are pissing it away in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, they're paying for pensions of people in the Ukraine. And then meanwhile, we won't get Social Security, which I have paid into since I was legit. I had my first job at 13 selling guitars. I want my money, I want it.
So devastatingly unfair on every level.
It is unfair. And I'm not the only one. Like, people, that is when you will see the shit hit the fan in this country. Like,
hands.
There will be hands thrown. There will be hands, and they will be Gen X hands. And we don't mess. We don't mess.
I mean, people are not going to be happy. Senator Kennedy also wanted to just make a comment about the state of the economy thanks to Bidenomics. Here he is to report on that in his very, very Kennedy way. Any second now, I promise. And go.
Amen. I'm also sorry that the American people are going through Bidenomics. Bidenomics is pretty simple. It's just bigger government, more spending, and higher prices. And I've said this before, at least in Louisiana, inflation is gutting my people like a fish. My people are getting really good at barely getting by. And in America, you shouldn't have to take an early distribution from your retirement account or sell blood plasma in order to go to the grocery store.
It's true.
The cost.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah. Everybody's screaming at me to block somebody. You guys just block him, because sometimes I can't multitask very well.
You guys can't. Oh, there's Jay.
So, I mean, I can try, but like, you guys block him and ignore him. That's the best thing that you can do if I can't catch him.
Yeah, you're giving him a lot of attention. He does want attention. It's this early in the morning. He obviously lives with his mother in her basement, and he has nothing better to do at this time. So either give him attention that he thinks he really duly deserves, or he just needs to be blocked by you.
Yeah, I think I got him, but like, if I didn't, you guys just block him on your own. And
who are these people? Why do they come here so early? They come here this early. Like, it makes you wonder who they are.
Yeah, they're probably just still awake from partying during the night,
or playing video games all night.
Right, exactly.
They're like sitting there with a big bag of Cheetos on their chest and all the residues on their face. Yeah.
I wanted to show this incredible video to give people a real feel for how much the cost of housing has changed since 1995. This is truly horrifying. When you actually see it broken down in this way. And I know a lot of people are struggling to pay for housing. Wherever you are in the country, it's now eating up a lot more of your take-home pay than it ever did before. And now we can understand why thanks to some of the math and the data analysis that this guy did. Check this out.
Cost of housing is astronomical, but what happened in the past 4 years is the problem. Check out the difference between 1995 to 2019 to 2023. So the complaining from us millennials started probably 2020, but this is why. So in 1995, the average house was $130,000. You put down 20%, that's $26,000. The interest rates were 7.8% back in 1995, and your principal and mortgage would be around $753. Now I'm going to save the average incomes for last. Now, 2019, $260,000. Not bad over 25 years. It only doubled. So the down payment would be $52,000, and there was only a 4% interest rate. So the monthly payment for principal and interest was $993. So this difference was not bad at all.
Nope.
Here's where the jump happens. This is what, okay, 2023, the average home jumped to $419,000. The down payment would be $84,000. The interest rate was similar to 95, which is 7.24%, but that would leave you with a monthly payment of $2,283. Now let's go with the average incomes. In 1995, it was $29,000. In 2019, it was $56,000. In 2023, it is still $56,000. So in 1995, 31% of your income could be used for housing. You could get it into a house. In 2019, it was only 21% of your income. In 2023, it is 49% of your income, plus the cost of living, plus the cost of groceries. So the past 4 years is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. The past 4 years is the problem.
I know. I have, listen, we're all living it, but I have older kids who are so living that.
Yeah.
You know, and they've put off having kids. This is what a lot of the younger generation, they're like, well, I mean, we got to wait to have kids so we can get financially stable. And you kind of go, well, you're never going to be financially stable, right? But really, if you look at that, there is a difference between 2023 and 1995.
A huge difference.
It sucks. It sucks. And I blame Democrats.
And you should. You should, because all of this is related to inflation. All of it's related to the ridiculous spending. All of it's related to the money that we're just throwing at Ukraine and everything that is not in our interest.
And honestly, a lot of that younger generation, they voted for it.
Yeah.
They voted for this. They were like, oh, Joe and Kamala, they're so great. I love them so much. And this, that, and abortion and trans rights and blah, blah, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Well, this is what you get.
Right.
You know, hope you enjoy renting the rest of your life. And the rent costs are like $3,000 a month for an apartment. Like if you do it in California, it's like $4,000 a month. If you do it in a city like Indianapolis, you're spending $1,500, $2,000 a month for an apartment. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, you guys. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yesterday we mentioned that Tucker interviewed RFK Jr. I still have not, because of just life being the way that life is, I have not gotten to watch the entire interview. I have seen some clips and I do have one to share. Yeah. And there was some explosive stuff in there. And before we show one of the clips, I wanted to play a clip of Geraldo, who is inexplicably, that's the reason for my name today, who is inexplicably trashing Tucker. I don't know what his deal is. Geraldo apparently has problems with like literally everybody that's ever been at Fox now that he's not there. But here is what he said about Tucker.
His bullshit. You know, it was pathetic, really pathetic. He got way too big for his britches. And the worst thing about Tucker, like I say, I have no beef against anybody. The worst thing about what he did was the ruthless pragmatism that he displayed. I'm going to do this because that's what the audience wants. In other words, it wasn't the malevolent media leading the audience. It was the audience leading the malevolent media. What he did was unforgivable. Basically, he made a mockery of the tenets of journalism.
Okay.
Says the guy with a cardboard cutout of himself in the background. Tucker's the one that made a mockery of journalism. Yeah, let's talk about the Al Capone vault. Let's talk about
Oh my God.
Yeah, let's talk about that. And the guy that's shirtless on, what was it, Twitter?
Yeah.
Was it Twitter? He went shirtless or whatever. With Instagram, he went shirtless at like 7. Stop it. Put your shirt back on, dude. I know. Mock is throwing up. Stop it. I mean, Tucker gave he gave us, the American people, the truth.
And he continues to.
Exactly. That's all he did. And he didn't go lockstep with the propaganda people at Fox and everywhere else, because because Fox, that's who they are now. They're propaganda pushers. So Geraldo hates that. He hates that he wasn't lockstep. And he also hates that Tucker is the popular guy and he's the old guy and he's pissed off about it. And when Geraldo.
Yeah, it makes him crazy.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so the clip that I do have from the Tucker RFK Jr. interview is unbelievably about Mike Pompeo. And Mike Pompeo, this is when Mike Pompeo, you remember, he was director of the CIA for a time. And apparently he had a moment as part of a larger group with RFK Jr., I think in Vegas. And so RFK Jr. tells Tucker a story of what Mike Pompeo said to him that night. And it's pretty horrifying, actually. Take a listen.
I mean,
what the hell?
There was like a whole bunch wrapped up into that short little clip.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like our institutions are not to be trusted.
And that's so sad.
Isn't it?
It's so sad. It's like I kind of want to unknow all of the things that made me lose faith. You know what I mean? Because it was such a happier time when everybody was just like, everything's great.
Everything's great. They like us. They're
Right,
doing
they wanna
what's best
take care
for
of us.
us. They're doing what's best for us. Like I know. It was a happier time, wasn't it? And I want to watch the whole thing in its entirety because I saw bits and pieces of it, because he's just like, he doesn't care. One of the things I thought was interesting too, he has no Secret Service. He has nobody watching his back.
Right. He's been denied Secret Service. He will not get it.
Right. His freaking uncle was assassinated. Like, I mean, we can all surmise that it was by people that should have been protecting him. And then here's this guy walking around just like, I guess I'll just see what happens as the days go on. I'm just going to move about the country and the world and just,
and eat hot dogs at the fair and just hope nobody attacks me.
Just going to work out and just see what happens. I mean, so is his father. His father was too. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. I'm sorry. I should have said that too. But I mean, this is the thing. Yikes.
Yeah. Why are your dogs so mad? Who is that?
It's Coda. Like, can I just make sure he's okay? Because everybody's gone and he may be eating a couch. Hold on.
Well, in the meantime, I will thank Eugene. Eugene, thank you for the super sticker. He says, because of the economy, the average young person is moving home with their parents. The future of our kids is sad. Yeah, it really is, Eugene. It is sad. And it's terrifying too, because of AI and AI, totally taking over all kinds of different jobs and professions. The future for kids is pretty terrifying right now. I don't know how you're going to have a show.
I don't know how I'm going to have it. I'm going to have to get them out here and go get them bones. And so you're just going to have to give me 30 seconds and I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
Do you want me to keep playing videos? Should I just keep going?
Keep going. Just keep going. I'll be right back.
All right. Oh, those dogs. Just look at them, you guys. Okay, so earlier we referenced, or Amy Jo referenced a video from Vivek talking about pardons and specifically about pardoning Trump. Now, Neil Cavuto is kind of a, I don't know, like he's got an attitude with Vivek in this video, but he's asking him to explain his position on pardoning Trump. And I thought Vivek did a phenomenal job answering this question. Check it out.
Talk about wanting to pardon Donald Trump for this. Why? What would be good about that if you became president of the United States to pardon him?
I think the right answer for this country is to move forward, not to get into a weaponized tug of war between two political parties that then make a habit of using politicized police force against their political opponents. That is the stuff of banana republics. That is not what I want to see the United States of America devolve into. We should be able to disagree fiercely with one another, but still sort out those disagreements through our civic process, culminating at the ballot box. Well, every person's voice and vote counts equally. That is how we do things in the United States, not by eliminating our opponents using backdoor mechanisms. And so my chief reason for pardoning Donald Trump, at least of the federal offenses, which will be what's in my power, that includes the New York State offenses because they include the charge of an underlying federal offense as well. It will be to move this nation forward, because my motivation in being U.S. president, Neil, is that I don't want to lead us to a national divorce. We're skating on thin ice as a country right now. That is a fact. I want to lead us to a national revival that will take forward. That is also why I'm saying even now, when it would be in my self-interest as a candidate to see Donald Trump eliminated. By some counts, that would put me at #1 in the Republican primary polls. That is not how I want to see it done, which is why I've been so particular about being vocal on this, because I stand on the side of principle over partisan politics.
All right,
So I totally agree. I think the stuff that he said yesterday, I watched this interview yesterday in its entirety, and a lot of people are like, Neil Cavuto's a jerk. You know what? He was a jerk.
He was.
Interview.
He was so awful.
He was awful during that interview yesterday. And he was so interrupty and just, oh my God, I was screaming at the television. I was like, will you just shut up and let him finish? Oh my God.
Yeah.
He was terrible. Like, he's becoming increasingly jerkish. I don't know what his deal is, but anyways, I thought it was, he did a great job. I agree with him on a lot of this stuff. I mean, I agree with him, but then at the same time, it's kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier, which is there's also that part of me that's like, I want to get him.
Right.
So
it's easy to be torn on that.
It is torn. It's very easy to be torn on it, because we've been so beat down by the left, and we've been like literally traumatized by the things that they've done to people on our side, and they've done it relentlessly without any accountability whatsoever. And so I want to hold them accountable for the things that they've done. That's what I want. And there's a part of me that's like, okay, can we do that first? And then we can like all get along and sing Kumbaya, because I'm not ready to sing Kumbaya yet, but I hear what he's saying. I do hear what he's saying. And I respect the things that he's saying,
I don't know if you guys have heard some of the stories. You probably have, with the horrible fires that took place in Lahaina and Hawaii. There were people who literally have lost everything, including family members, including every possession that they ever had ever, who are getting pestered by real estate barons, basically saying, I'll buy your land off of you right now. Like, they're calling these people right now, in the midst of their worst moments of their lives.
A little
saying,
sus.
we'll take your land from you.
It's sus.
Disgusting.
It's weird. Don't you think that's suspect?
Yeah, it's super suspect, but not nearly as suspect as what the governor of Hawaii said yesterday. Listen carefully, because this is even more horrifying.
About preserving Lahaina moving forward.
I'm already thinking about ways for the state to acquire that land so that we can put it into workforce housing, to put it back into families, or to make it open spaces in perpetuity as a memorial to people who were lost. We want this to be something that we remember after the pain passes.
What?
I could not believe my ears.
What
He's
in the
like, I'm
world?
already thinking about how the state will take over that land and like make memorials and create new multi-member housing. I was just like, what are you saying?
Oh my God.
What the hell?
Yeah, what the hell is right? It just, all of it is very sus.
Yeah. It's really, 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 really sketch.
Yep.
And none of those people should do that. I mean, to the extent that they can fight it and that people can help fight it for them,
right?
That has to happen. This is freaking insane.
Amen to that. That's just not okay. None of that is okay.
Not okay
God
at all.
Almighty. That is not, oh my God, just hearing that. It's like,
Right?
oh, let's just let the government come in and just take over.
Yeah, we'll make you a nice memorial.
Right.
Oh my God.
Let's just put a little monument there. And then, the government will come in and just take over this land. Okay.
Yeah.
If that
I
doesn't
was
make
amazed.
the hair on your back stand up a little bit, I don't know what will.
Mm-hmm. It's just vile. And speaking of vile, we've talked a lot, obviously, about trans ideology and how dangerous it is, particularly for kids. When this clip I saw of a kid talking about sex change surgery, essentially, just made me want to hurl. Like, this is a tiny, tiny tot that should have no understanding of the words that are coming out of their own mouth. But this is how sick some parents are. I hope you've got a trash can nearby.
If you want girl parts and you don't have them, you can do special surgery where they turn your penis inside out and there's a vagina inside.
Oh my God. I cannot.
Why
Oh my God.
Is that, why does that child know anything about that?
That is freaking child abuse is what that is. My God. It's unbelievable.
I know. Just sickening on every level. I saw that and I was like, who would do this to like that tiny, innocent, precious,
terrible human being?
Oh my God. It is. It's total child abuse. And I just couldn't know about it alone.
That's all it is. Plain and simple. It's child abuse.
Yeah. Now, you do not have a whack today, but you have something you wanted to share.
Well, I like this video. I'm sorry, you guys. This week has been a really weird week for me. So I just didn't want to, there's too much weirdness. It's kind of like what she just showed you was whack. There's too much whack. And I just like this. And it makes me think about, we were just talking about Social Security and how I said Gen X is we're not going to deal with that crap. Like we will revolt. This sort of reminded me of this video that I saw. And I was like, I kind of like this video. So here it is.
I do believe that my brain woke up and chose violence this morning.
It's his
because
voice.
I've come to the realization that we Gen Xers are now the new old people.
We are.
That means we're next in line for the throne. Have you ever really thought about what that means? You're going to put a bunch of rabid animals behind the important buttons of this world. For instance, we lived before technology. We know how to live in that world without all these devices. And you're going to put us in a position where we can turn them all off. We're also a very patient generation. We will wait forever for anything. We would sit behind our radios for an entire day just to hear one song to put it on a mixtape. And then the DJ would ruin it for us. But now, we're going to be behind the helm, waiting, patiently, for the right moment. We're violent. We're very violent. We're the generation who used to fight at the bus stop every day after school for absolutely no reason at all. And then we'd be friends the next morning. And we're creative, because we had to be. Living in this fair world called the outside, we had to think of all sorts of ways to entertain ourselves, all sorts of ways to keep ourselves busy and live through this world. And do you think that if we're in power, we're not going to use that same creativity or do whatever we want to? This is insane. Whose idea was this? I'm both terrified and excited. And I honestly can't wait.
I just love that. It just made me
I don't
happy.
understand his voice. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
I think he's like putting on it. I'm assuming that's not his real voice. He's just started trying to talk like somebody from some other time.
Like a Keebler elf or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm
that?
not really sure. I think the boomers can throw themselves in that same bucket.
Yes.
For
sure.
I saw it on Instagram, but I think it's a TikTok video that sort of made its way to Instagram. But yeah, that's us. We're just not going to like, once we get to that point where they start pulling stuff away, we've been kind of just like simmering in the background. Gen Xers, boomers too, because we were raised by boomers. We've been kind of simmering and we're just like, you know what? I'm getting a little tired of this shit. But eventually people are just gonna...
Mike says that's dad bod veteran.
Okay.
The handle. So you guys can apparently look him up. Dad bod veteran.
Yeah. And who has a mixtape? I mean, seriously, I have like 3 mixtapes. I still have them in my office closet.
We have them in the attic. And VHS tapes.
My very first boyfriend, maybe a mixtape. I still have it. It has like some like Def Leppard on it. Come on, you guys, like, right?
Do you guys know I had the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack on an 8-track tape?
Of course you did. Of course. I love it. Why you should have kept it? Like,
oh my God, I
should have. 8 tracks. Like, that's the stuff. You gotta at least. And then your kids are like, "What is that? It's from another planet."
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I just like that. I wasn't in the mood to do something like some weird transgender kid that we can all get depressed about. I just thought that was awesome. It'll maybe give us some hope. We'll all band together when the crap really hits the fan. Okay, y'all? All right.
All right. It's time for some MyPillow talks. MyPillow celebrating hard at headquarters, throwing giant discount price tags on all of the MyPillow amazing, awesome products, including towels, including sheets, including slippers, including flip-flops, including everything, including, I might add, the original and now limited edition pillows, which are less than $20 right now when you go to mypillow.com/chicks and use code chicks. You can stock up. If you've already got all of your MyPillow wares, think of your family. Think of your friends who are missing out. Think of the liberals in your life who are just anti Mike Lindell. You could take the labels off of stuff and gift MyPillows to them.
And they'll be like, this is so awesome. And then like 2 months later, be like, look what I got you.
Yeah. You know what you've been sleeping on? Take that.
MyPillow. Right.
And we played that clip about how much the housing prices have changed over the years. This is another clip kind of related to that from a comedian. I know we've played him before. Absolutely hilarious. Here he is.
When I was your age, I already owned a house. Yeah, because it cost $6. Your down payment couldn't buy a Frosty at an airport Wendy's today. The last time houses were actually affordable was when college degrees were actually useful. Have you doom scrolled Zillow lately? I don't know if that's the price of a house or if the realtor's cat walked across the computer and sat on the zero key. The only way to own a house now is to patiently wait for Mr. Beast to give you one. By the time I was your age, by the time I'm your age, the sun will have exploded. So who needs a house?
My God, it's so true. It's just so true.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
Doom scrolling Zillow. I do that. I actually do that.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what do these people do for a living? What do they do? Honestly, what do they do? I see stuff in my neck of the woods, and I'm like, I look at some of these homes, and I'm like, what do they do? And then like you see those memes like the HGTV thing where like our budget is 1.3 million and I breed caterpillars for a living. What? How?
And I sell Etsy keychains.
Right. What the hell?
My budget is $4 billion.
Find us a home. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what kind of crazy ass safari this is, but I know I want to go. You can't have that music.
This is so you. That thing is gonna eat those people.
Oh my gosh, look at the kitty.
It's not a kitty.
Look at how cuddly.
Look at that chick.
Oh
She's like, I'm gonna go and take a selfie.
I would be like, record this entire interaction. Oh my God. Look at how sweet.
Well, I get munched. I mean, it's really sweet right now, but then eventually it's gonna get hungry. It's gonna get hungry in about 5 minutes.
I mean, that is amazing.
It is pretty cool. It is really neat.
My gosh.
I would be freaking out though. I mean, look how gigantic that thing is. And y'all know I love gigantic animals, but wow.
Oh my gosh. I just love that.
Beautiful animal.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Anyway, so see, there's nice kitties like that.
I mean, there's
Okay, our friend Esty has done it again. She is stitched or duetted or whatever the right word is, a video with someone who is either pretending to be or actually is in Hawaii, questioning when the government is going to come and help. Here it is.
You guys, we did it. We got help on the way. All your help, sharing that video, liking, commenting. We got it. I'm so excited. The government, we finally have someone from the government here, and I am just so excited. Check this out.
I'm here. Aloha.
Oh my God.
The government is here. We're here to help.
Is she on a green screen?
What in the world?
Anyway, I want to thank you, Madam President. I mean, wait, that's what Joe calls you. Thank you, Madam Vice President. We're here in Maui. There's so many people displaced. There's so many people struggling. What are you guys going to do to help us here in Maui?
So here's the thing, right? Hawaii is an island. and it's surrounded by water. Okay, and sometimes when water is too wet, you have to unburden what has been, and sometimes a fire starts.
Oh my
Right.
God.
We understand that, but what can we expect from the military or the government in terms of support?
So in terms
Look at her
of
hair.
help, hold on. What we can do is finish helping Ukraine, right? Because
Right.
I gotta tell you, I mean that's way more important, because that one keeps Biden out of prison.
That's true. Very true.
Okay, so you're going to support Ukraine over supporting the 50th state and the most amazing islands on the planet, Hawaii. Doesn't really make much sense. Also, hey, think about it this way. Joe could be closer to his son if he goes to jail. Just saying.
And once we galvanize what has been, we'll be able to unburden everything that these direct energy plant attacks have burdened you with. But with that, I'd like to leave you on this note. Mele Kawiki Malaka. All right, this is great stuff. I'm gonna go. Yeah, Mexico has tacos. Let's see what they're doing down there.
Oh my God.
Good. She's so good.
It actually is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very, very accurate.
That's about how things are going, you guys.
There is a fellow who has a new idea about something, a subject, if you will, that should absolutely be mandatorily taught in schools. I know you're going to agree. I 100% agree. This needs to be taught.
Nobody told me about this. Why didn't I know this? Why didn't I know that donkeys are this sweet and cuddly?
They are.
Why did nobody tell me this? They should be teaching this in schools.
Why aren't
This should be
they?
kindergarten, day one. Donkeys are this sweet and cuddly. I had no idea. What? This is important information.
Right?
It is. Look at
that
them.
everybody should have.
Look at his sweet
This is
little
what
whiskers.
donkeys can be like. This is what what is this?
Look at
I didn't know this.
Oh my God, I love them. I need donkeys, you guys. I need donkeys.
I love these.
Oh my God, they're so sweet.
I really want donkeys. You have no idea how much I want donkeys.
Just
I
get
want
them.
I know I need them. I need donkeys. We're gonna get our third cow. We're getting a heifer in September. She's an old heifer that's retiring from many years of mama service, and she's gonna be retiring here. I think she's like 14 or 15 years old. She's going to retire here. Once we get her, then I want to try to find some donkeys to sort of be assimilated onto our ranch. And we have to get 2. And then we'll be done. Then we'll have like a 5, livestock ranch. And so I'm very excited.
Well,
about
you won't
that,
be done because you got to still get wallabies.
For crying out loud. Yes.
So that's some animals to get. So don't try to end it with just another heifer.
Oh my gosh. People are like, get goats. My husband refuses to get goats because they stand on cars, and we have goats down the street. I can always go visit the goats down the street from us. So yeah, they are good to protect. Yes, donkeys protect everything. They protect all the things. They protect against predators. They're fantastic animals. I love donkeys. Love.
Aww. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people that are having themselves a week, like you, for example, people that are having a week, sometimes you just know how people feel without words. And this guy does a great job describing just how some days and weeks are going.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally only fucking Tuesday.
Right. Right. Yep. I hear you. I mean, I feel that guy. Yes.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yes. I do know what he means. I do.
You do. You just sometimes you just have to throw the things.
Yeah. It's like there's not enough rocks.
Yeah. There's not enough rocks.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This reminded me of my sister so much. So my sister has a couple of dogs. She's crazy when it comes to animals. Like I know you think I'm crazy. She's crazy when it comes to the routines and the allowances that she gives her dogs, like the way that she treats them, can be a little over the top.
They're her children. They are absolutely her children.
Absolutely
Right.
her children. And so I sent her this and I was like, I have never seen a more you video in my life. And she agreed with it. I'll have to tell you guys what she texted me back after you see this. But imagine my sister prepping a dog sitter. Okay.
Oh my
This
God.
is exactly what it would look like.
I can't imagine.
So when you put down the food, you have to go yum 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 yum, as if you're eating it, because then he likes to think that you're eating the food.
Right.
Oh, it's so good. So he's not good with stairs anymore. So you pick him up like this, and then you sing "Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong," like the last scene in Officer and a Gentleman, which he's never seen. The food situation is we put the wet food on the licky mat, and then we put the dry food, and then the water with the splash of the fluoride solution. Now the dry food, we like to keep it filled, but he'll never eat it. But he'll eat the wet food, but just make sure that the dry food's out there anyway, even though he'll never eat it. But just make
Just
sure
put it out there.
Then
Right.
after a walk, he'll be so excited to come back home. You just run him in, and he'll run around, and while he's running around, you say, "Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man? He lives at Miller's Crossing, not Drury Lane. He won't settle down if you say Drury Lane. Miller's Crossing." That's just how he likes it. He'll only eat if we're all seated at the dining room table. So you might have to just sit there. I usually sit at the end. And then you might have to just like fake a conversation amongst the four of us. So you'd play me, and then also just like change your voice a little, play the boys, and then play my husband. Just like act like you're a family.
Yeah.
He has a super high reference level for movies. So when you walk him down the street, the park's right down there, and you have to pick him up, starting at 3 houses down, pick him up for the next 3 houses. And then you can put it back down again. He will not walk on his own past those 3 houses.
I mean, it's not so much that the dog is high maintenance.
No,
as
it's
the
just
owner.
really exactly because I don't know if she realizes this, but dogs actually lived without us like 10,000 years ago. I mean, they used to be in the wild. I always look at my dogs and I'm like, you had to actually find your own food like 1,000 years ago. Like you had to live without me. So, you know, buck up, Buttercup. You're fine. You know?
So when I sent that to my sister, her response was, and I quote, this just gives you an example of how this video actually was. She said, "Oh my God, there has never been a more me thing in the history of things. I get testy with Mike," that's her husband, "when he doesn't get Corn Dog's name in the right order when it's time to play Get You. The correct order is Big Bob Barker Bonebiter Buddha Belly Bailiwick. And sometimes he says dumb shit like Bob Belly Bailey or something. Why is it so hard to grasp?" That's what she wrote back to me.
The dog's name is Corn Dog. I mean, you had me at Corn Dog. God, I love your sister. I love her.
So
my goodness.
And then lastly, I wanted to show you this dog's snout because it was so perfect. I mean, this is a snout, you guys. There is no snoutier snout.
It's a snooty snoot.
Look at this.
I'm gonna grab it. Oh my God, I love
the
him.
angle.
I love everything about his snooty snoot. I just want to grab it. I want to grab his snooty snoot. I love him. Love him.
Cash, anyway,
do you like the snoot? Listen, I was gonna do gifts today, but I'm gonna wait and do them tomorrow.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I've got a puppy who I think may be destroying my house.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then tomorrow, what we're gonna do, since it's the first day back to school, my husband reluctantly let him just kind of roam the house. Coda is now roaming my house, and I may not have a couch left when I walk out into the living room.
Can
so
we have
tomorrow?
A flat,
Well, tomorrow, we'll get a flat from Cash, but tomorrow I'll probably have him put either Coda in the cage because he used to go in the car and take my daughter to school with him.
Oh,
they didn't do that today, so I'm not sure maybe it's because Gwen may have not wanted to have her clothes messed up because it's first day of school, and then after the first day she probably just won't care. So we're going to see what happens tomorrow, but it won't be as chaotic because I have so many people to thank, you guys. I got so many great like grandma gifts.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
the sweetest. And I have so many people to thank, and I want to do that. And I don't want to be rushed to do it. So.
Denise just said, I hate when the show is over because now I have to go and contemplate life.
Can you come here and give everybody a flap? Come here.
We'll be back tomorrow, Denise.
Come here. You got to give everybody a flap. Come on. There's flap. I blew in his face.
That was like a defiant flap.
That was like, I'm going to flap because you blew in my face. I blew in his face to make sure that you guys got a flap. So
yeah, that was.
He's ready to go party, you guys. Anyways, we will. I'll be thanking. I know that there's a couple of you that are probably like, I wonder if she got the gift. I did. I got some of your gifts. I'll be thanking y'all tomorrow and like showing everybody all the wonderful things. They're sitting right here in front of me, so I'll be doing that tomorrow. And you guys have the most wonderful Wednesday, and we will talk to you tomorrow morning. Bye, everybody.